Yo, it's your boy, Orion, one half of the Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today's new video, live stream, Madden 21, says Rob Gronkowski, Gronk, is the third best tight end in the NFL right now. A Bucs fan reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. So right now with Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, social media, everyone is stirring. Everyone is going crazy. Everyone is scratching their heads. Yes, I'm a Bucs fan since 95 through and through, but I want to go over these tight end rankings that Madden came out with. Congratulations also to Can't Guard Michael Thomas, for being the fifth number 99, joining Patrick Mahomes, the clone, Showtime, Run CMC, Christian McCaffrey, Aaron Donald, the big stud from the Rams, and who else? Stephon Gilmore from the Patriots, and then last but not least, Can't Guard Mike. You only hope to contain him. You can't guard him, Michael Thomas. I had a feeling maybe, it could be Quentin Nelson or maybe B-Wags, Bobby Wagner. But if you really think about the season, that Michael Thomas had, he definitely deserves that big 99. But as you look at this list, this has been really causing a big stir on the internet. And even though I'm the hugest Buccaneers fan on planet fucking Earth, I don't even know how many Buccaneers fans there were prior to Tom Brady signing or Gronk signing. A lot of bandwagon, fans are going to hop on, right now, in preseason, if we have one, once the regular season starts. And I want to kind of go over my take on it, because I call it right down the middle, and I'll give you the truth to it and kind of the way that I feel that the season is going to go for the Buccaneers. And we have a few things to remember with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. Tom Brady, 42, 43 years old. Gronk, around 30, 31 years old. Stop acting like Rob Gronkowski is 40 years old right now. Stop acting like he's 35, 36, 37. But even if he was, okay? Even if he was, let's go back in time, all right? Let's go back to the future, Michael J. Fox style. How old was Shannon Sharp back in the day when he was dominating the league? 35. Let's go back in time a little bit more. Tony Gonzalez, arguably the best tight end of all fucking time, period, with the Falcons and the Chiefs, right? He was 37 and doing big things, right? So if you go through when Gronk is done playing and a lot of these other guys, Travis Kelce, Kittle, Zach Ertz, so bad it hurt Zach Ertz, a lot of these guys are destined for the Hall of Fame. But let's stop acting like Rob Gronkowski has nothing left in the tank. Let's stop acting that he's 40, 41, 42, 43 like Tom Brady. Let's stop acting that it's not impossible or impossible for him to actually have a decent season. Is it really that crazy to think that him and Tom Brady might end up having the best connection on that roster, even though you have Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, O.J. Howard, right? Cameron Brate, Rojo, the running backs that they have there. Is it that crazy to think that maybe this year or next year that Gronk might lead the team in touchdowns? I mean, you got great talent at the wide receiver position, but who's his favorite guy on third down? Gronk, right? Who's the guy that he likes to go with the checkdowns? Gronk. Who's got good hands? No, great hands for a tight end? Gronk. He took a year off with his body, right? So there's questions. He hasn't caught any passes since 2018. So I'm skeptical. Like, what am I going to see? But one thing I do know, that he's motivated, all right? He's got chemistry with Brady. They're not just going there to collect a paycheck. They're trying to win a fucking Super Bowl. The Super Bowl's in fucking Tampa. The Super Bowl is in Tampa. If that can't get you any more motivated with the roster that you have with Bruce Arians, right, a top 15 coach in the league right now, Todd Bowles at D coordinator, if he ends up getting a job, he could be a top 15 coach depending on where he lands. But as far as D coordinators are concerned, I think he's a top 12 D coordinator in the league. I don't think that's so crazy to say. And then Byron Leftwich at OC, he will get a chance to be the head coach somewhere in the next few years. How good will he be? I'm not really fucking sure. Bang! Let me read that right. Bang! $50 fucking dollars. Bang! Let's go, baby. Who gets the donations like your boy? Who gets the love like your boy? $50 fucking by one of our all-time greats, the Fanatic family, Odin's Child, Chiefs Kingdom. Stand the fuck up. Everyone, mic drop that. Boom, $50 fucking. Let's fucking go. Too Fast 49. I see you in the building, and I'll go over my rankings with everything that's in the building, bro. That is such a generous. Dude, thank you so much. You know, I bring the fire, I bring the energy, I bring the heat, and you always are the one to start off the donations, whether it be $5, $10, $20, $50 fucking, $100. I mean, who does that? Only someone that loves this channel, someone that smashes that fucking like button, someone that will donate and show the love, but also we have a friendship too as well. You know what I mean? It's something that we actually talk almost on a daily basis, and you build those relationships with people. Young Nola is one of those guys. You're one of those. Ryan Strick in the building is one of those guys. So I hope to be able to, extend that relationship and friendship with a lot of the Fanatic family. But I'll tell you what, there's not very many fucking people that can get a $50 fucking donation from anybody. So think about how much you have to really love somebody, love the program, love the YouTube channel to be able to put in that much time and effort with your hard-earned fucking money to show some love. Bang! Odin's Child, $50. Who will be next to donate to your boy? This is going to be a great show because absolutely, as you can see, I am in Bucs Nation. All right, it's a Bucs life. All right, the pirate ship from now till forever until I'm fucking dead. All right, and I want to go over these stats. I want to go over some of the ratings. But again, like I was saying, Shannon Sharp, to me, one of the best tight ends of all fucking time. We see him on Skip and Shannon. Funny as hell. He roasts Skip all the time. But let's not forget what he did on the football field. An amazing fucking talent. One of my favorites at tight end all time. 35 years old. He was doing big things. All right. Tony Gonzalez at 37 was still doing big things. All right. So let's stop thinking that Gronk is not going to have a good season and like he's going to have 300 yards and 2 TDs. Fucking stop it. The Buccaneers, for the most part, right, if they can stay relatively healthy, they have a shot not only to go to the playoffs this year and next year, right, but maybe at least one of the 2 years, but maybe 2 out of the 2 years if Brady and Gronk are there. Are they going to win the NFC South this year? I doubt it. But they can still get in with the wild card. And then next year, that's the year that I'm thinking that if they get some more pieces together, right, that they can win the division, win the NFC South crown. But you never know. Maybe they overachieve this season and they end up doing a little bit better than people anticipate. Maybe the Saints aren't as good or have some injuries with Breeze or key members like Michael Thomas or Jared Cook or AK-41, right? Or some of the people on the defense like Cameron Jordan or Marshawn Lattimore. You don't know. Or Sheldon Rankins. You don't know. So I don't think there's going to be that much distance between the winner of the NFC South and second place in the NFC South. Third place, the Panthers and then the Falcons, they're going to be below the Saints and the Bucs. But stop acting like the Saints are going to win 15 fucking games and the Bucs are going to win 9, because that is not going to fucking happen. I'll tell you that right now. As great as the Saints are and as much as love that I have for them, are they the better team on paper right now? Yes. Do I think that they're going to win the NFC South this year? The Nyland Saints? Yes. And I'm a hardcore Bucs fan. So for me to be able to say something like that and not just be talking out of my ass, that I have respect. I do the stats. I watch everything, right? But let's not act like the Bucs don't have a shot to make some noise this season. You got the Niners, you got the Seahawks, the Rams, the Cardinals. The NFC West is loaded. Literally all 4 of those teams could make the playoffs based on what I've seen and based on what, film I've watched and based on how they've been drafting. Those 4 teams look good. No one thinks the Cardinals and Rams are going to be good, but guess what? They're going to be better than you think. Right? You got Packers, you got Vikings, you got Lions. I like those 3 teams, not really the Bears, right? And then you got the Eagles and the Cowboys, but no one's really talking about the Giants. Redskins, I feel, will be last, but they're going in the right direction with Chase Young. And then obviously with the Saints and Tampa Bay, and then you got the Panthers in a couple years that will contend as well. And if you look at this fucking list that got everyone in an uproar, right? Tight end overall in Madden 21, George Kittle, number 1. Based off last season's performance, you can definitely argue, yes, George Kittle deserves to be in the number 1 spot. Me personally, I like Travis Kelce as the number one tight end in the league. But if you're doing it based off a video game and the performance from last year and the amazing year that Kittle had, you could definitely argue that he deserves to be either number one or tied for number one. So I don't really necessarily think that Kittle should be 1 point higher than Travis Kelce. Right? I feel if you're going to put him there, you should put him at least at a tie, both of them at a 98. That's what I personally feel, but I would have Kelce at top at number one, Kittle at number two, just personally, because the thing is Kelce's getting older, Kittle's the new breed, the new blood, and he is going to end up being the best tight end in the next few years for quite a few years, more than likely, because he's got youth on his side. Kelce's getting older, right? Gronk is getting older. So bad it hurts Zach Ertz is getting older. So at that point, Kittle's only going to have to compete with guys like Evan Ingram, Jared Cook, who's getting older. Mark Andrews, he'll compete with him. Darren Waller, another guy that he'll compete with. But there's not a lot of guys. Maybe Ebron, if he can be a little bit more, reliable from, game to game. But obviously, as we know with Evan Ingram, we'll see what Danny Dimes does with him. But with Ebron, he's with Big Ben now. Let's not forget, Ebron isn't on the old team anymore. Ebron is on the Pittsburgh fucking Steelers. So you got Juju, right? You got that, and then you end up getting James the Terminator Kana, get through the chopper, right? And then you have Ebron with a healthy Big Ben. You're not telling me that it's not that crazy to think that maybe he can get to a point where he could be a top 5 tight end? It's possible. Bang! Gerald, black and gold light toes, $2. Who dat? You dat. He said Winston about to get a ring. Oh, we'll see. Don't, and be careful what you wish for, because if Breeze ends up going down and you have an injury, right, you're not going to be able to go as far as you think with Jameis Winston. I'll tell you that. He can have the LASIK surgery. You might as well just go with Taysom Hill, even though he's your Swiss Army knife. You put Jameis Winston in the game, he's going to fuck it up for you. You guys got a lot of amazing talent out there, but would you really feel that comfortable with Jameis Winston for 5 or 6 games, honestly, with the last 3 seasons, the way that, they've ended up for the Saints? No, you want Drew Brees the whole season, and guess what? As a Bucs fan, I want Drew Brees healthy for the whole fucking season. And I'll tell you what, if the Bucs don't get to the playoffs, or if they do, right, and they get knocked off, I'm rooting for the Saints, which is very uncharacteristic for someone that's in a heated rivalry with someone in the division, but I'm really rooting for Drew to be able to make it happen. We've seen Aaron Rodgers get his one, right? We've seen Russell Wilson get his one. We're still waiting for the Niners, and they'll be able to get their one in due time, because I think that Kyle Shanahan's a great coach, and they built that roster to be one of the dynasties in the NFC. We already know what it is for the Kansas City Chiefs, right? And we already know what the Ravens, they could be a little dynasty in the AFC. But if any team has got long-term success, to me, right, it could be the San Francisco 49ers, and it could be possibly the Saints, but it depends on who you have lined up at QB after Drew Brees. So let's go to the list, and I'll acknowledge everyone in the room. This has been a fucking lit video from the very start. Tight end overall, Madden 21. Madden 21 says Rob Gronkowski, a.k.a. Gronk, for my Buccaneers, is the 3rd best fucking tight end in the league right fucking now. A Bucs fan reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the fucking channel. Donate to your boy like Odin's Child did. $50 fucking dollars. $2 by Gerald, black and gold light toes. Chief Kingdom, stand up. Nyland Saints, stand up. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video. Let's go. All right, so let's take a quick look. Actually, I'm going to acknowledge people in the room here first before I actually get in the list, because this list got me fired up, and I'm going to give you my take on everything. And you may not believe what I have to say, but, I feel I'm pretty truthful with everything that goes down. Stretchy Wink. Never heard of ya. What it do? New to the channel, possibly? What's up? Trey Holiday in the building. What it do? Official Young Nola Nyland Saints in the building. What it do, my guy? Tyler Hetzel. He said Ertz is 1 or 2. Disagree. I love. So bad it hurt Zach Ertz. But there is no way in hell, right, that he is better than George Kittle or Travis Kelce. If you're someone like me that watches every single game, pretty much, of all the big primetime games, and I read 5, 6, 7 hours a day. I watch the tape. I don't just watch the Buccaneers, so that's why we have so many subscribers, and they really take the opinion seriously. You know, if you only watch your team or a couple others, you're not going to really have a really smart gauge on how good people are unless you're just, you know, reading into ESPN or SportsCenter, shoving shit down your throat and brainwashing you. You have to watch the film for yourself, right? Zach Ertz is great. Zach Ertz has been a top 3 tight end for many, many years, right? Right now, Zach Ertz should be probably higher ranked than Rob Gronkowski on this fucking list. He should be number 3. But I feel with Rob Gronkowski, with his rating, you can flip-flop those numbers, give Ertz a 95, right? Let Gronk have a 90 and earn his way to that 95 once we start seeing him dominate with Tom Brady this season, right? But they decided to almost give him the final rating by the time the season is over. I think Gronkowski, Rob, my guy, could be at the end of the season. You could look back and say, wow, you know, over 1,000 yards, possibly double-digit touchdowns, or close to 8, 9, or 10, right? And having a good amount of grabs, 50 to 70 grabs. If that ends up being the case, then that 95 rating that he's getting right now, which seems crazy, especially over guys like Zach Ertz, right? He might be able to justify that rating. So sometimes these ratings are now, right? But sometimes they give ratings on maybe what it would be down the road. You feel me? Bang! 24.99. Calvin Griffin. He said keep the party going, but Gronk shouldn't be top 5. I disagree. You know what I mean? I feel that with his age, you know what I mean, and with Tom Brady there, if he went to a different team, right? Or if he would have went, you know, even if he went back to the Patriots and Cam was there, Cam Newton and him would have had a good connection. Right? So with all these stats and everything, let me read off some stats. And I know Gronk is old, but sometimes we sleep on players. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get to a point where it's like fast food. You know, what we're getting immediately right now. And then you take guys for granted because they've been so good and you hold them to a standard. Kind of like Zeke Elliott, right? We take that motherfucker for granted. He's great. Right? For him to be tied, you know, at, you know, number 2 overall in Madden with the rating with like a 92, he should be the number 2 running back overall behind Run CMC, period. If you look at his stats, you know, he doesn't really blow you away with long runs. You know, he didn't have any runs for over like 40 yards last season. He's not one of those exciting breakaway, long touchdown guys like he was at Ohio State, but he always gives you 1,000 yards. He always gives you double-digit touchdowns, and we've held him to such a standard where, you know, you expect him to do these things, and he rub people the wrong way in the media, you know, so people don't like him. He's also on the Cowboys. He's very talkative. So if you're not a Cowboy fan or an Ohio State Buckeye fan, right, and, you know, you're just watching him in general, there's a lot of hate towards Zeke. But if you look at the numbers, you know, in the last 4 years or so, he's number 1 or number 2 in almost every category. But when he came in, the competition was different. DeMarco Murray, Jay Ajayi, you know, Jordan Howard. Those aren't the fucking guys that you're going now. The new breed, AK-41, Alvin Kamara, Run CMC, Saquon Barkley. It's a little bit different now. The talent is better. So you got to be able to look at it like that. But let me just go back and just acknowledge. Odin Child, $50. Bang! $2 for Gerald Black and Gold Light Toes. Calvin Griffin, $25. Bang! I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. All right, let's go with the Madden ratings, and I'm going to acknowledge everyone, and we'll go into what I really feel with the list. This video is lit. Let's go, baby. Trey Holiday's in the building. I can't with Madden ratings. Yeah, a lot of them are wrong, but some of them are decently right. Nola says, what's poppin'? Gangsta. What to do? Ryan Schritt, Gronk overrated. Waller underrated. Swap Kittle and Kelsey. I agree with most of those statements. Gronk overrated? No, I don't think he's overrated. Overrated on this list? Yes, but based on what I think he's going to do this season, I don't think he's an overrated player. I think he's really going to have a fantastic year. Darren Waller, to me, is underrated. I absolutely love him. He would be, you know, roughly in around my top 5 with Mark Andrews. That's facts. And I would have Kittle and Kelsey swapped, or actually I would probably have them tied at the same number at 98, because even though George Kittle had that amazing season. If I had to choose one guy, even though he's a little bit older, I go Travis Kelce all day. You know what I mean? Just based off the film, the hands, the route running. George Kittle's got a lot of potential, and he's going to be the number one guy sooner than later for a few years. There'll probably be a run where he's the number one tight end for about 3 to 4 years, kind of like where Travis Kelce was, where he's had that kind of ranking as the champ, as the best tight end for 3 to 4 years in a row. So it's coming, you know what I mean? But he definitely had a breakout year last year, George Kittle. Gerald Black and Gold Light Toes, what up, what up, what up? Who dat, everyone? What to do? Goat James, Gronk not top 3. But it's easy to say that, if you're a hater or, you don't like Gronk, you don't like the Patriots, you don't like the Bucs, right? But I do think that there is some potential there when the season's over that he could be ranked in the top 3. And it's possible that he could end up having the most touchdowns out of any tight end with Brady, because there's going to be so many opportunities for Brady and him to go together on checkdowns, third down, red zone. I know Mike Evans is great and Godwin's great, but Brady's going to feel that chemistry and that comfort level with his guy. So there's a possibility, especially if they make the playoffs and overachieve, they're both going to have good years this season. It's all about just staying healthy and bringing it. Jomo, Buccaneers. Okay, I see you. Trey Holiday. Who dat? You dat. Too Fast 49 in the building. Yo, what's up, Orion Pax? Kittle, the best tight end. You're a 49er fan through and through, and you can't really argue that for Madden's sake from last season, right? And I have him and Travis Kelce right there at the top. J. Will 501, Waller and Andrews ratings way too low. Agreed. I would have both of those guys right around in my top 5. I really do like Mark Andrews and Darren Waller. If you play fantasy football, I had these guys. I had Darren Waller early, like week 1, week 2. I know what he can do, for me in fantasy football. And if you look at the weapons that they have, on the roster, there's not a whole lot besides Josh Jacobs. You got Waller. There's a few pieces there, but nothing too crazy. Tyrell Williams. So we'll see what happens, but I expect Waller and Andrews to have fantastic years. The thing about Andrews that's crazy, with the diabetes, he's got type 1 diabetes. So that's going to be really tough, for him and insulin to be able to manage everything. But he's a warrior, so I wouldn't expect him, to drop down in performance one bit, and that's facts. Too Fast 49, bang, bang, Niner gang, my boy, what it do? Trey Holiday, Too Fast, he said true, Kittle is a GOAT. I love Kittle. He's amazing. Like I said, it's just due time that he's going to be there. Tyler Hetzel says, Ertz is top 1 or 2. I don't think so. Trey Holiday says, I think top 2. Ertz should be higher than Gronk, and Kittle is 2, Odin's child. Yeah, so if I was going to do the rankings at this point, I would have Kelce and Kittle tied. Kelce 1, Kittle 2, both at a 98. I'd have Zach Ertz with Gronk's rating at a 95, swap that rating and have Gronk go down to 4, right, with a 90, just with the Brady and Gronk potential, all right? And I think at 5, I wouldn't have Austin Hooper there. I would more than likely have Evan Ingram sitting right there at 5, and then a tie with Mark Andrews and Darren Waller at 6. And then, then you got Austin Hooper and Jared Cook probably tied. And I don't even think I'd have Greg Olsen on the list whatsoever, period. He's getting a little bit older. That rating is just kind of like a vet rating that they ended up putting in there. But that's kind of the way that I would break it down. Kelce, Kittle, Zach Ertz, Gronk, but you could argue Evan Ingram over Gronk. But I think that the Tom Brady connection is really going to bring out the best in both of them. So you got Kelce, Kittle, Zach Ertz, Gronk, like I said, Evan Ingram. And I actually think I would swap out Greg Olsen and I would put Ebron because he's on the Steelers. I think there's great potential, there for him to actually bounce back and have a great season. So that's the one position I would swap out. Get rid of Greg Olsen. Let's bring in Ebron since he's on the Steelers. I love that. All right, let me go here and keep going. Jomo, Kelce. Okay, I see you. Too Fast 49. Now Kelce is better, Ryan Strick says. Everyone's going to be going for their guys if you're a Chiefs Kingdom member or if you're a 49er fanatic in the building. But they're both great. And I think that, bottom line, Zach Ertz is not as good to me as Kittle and Kelce. He's great in his own way, right? And he does a lot of things. But if you look at physical ability, route running, hands, everything that, you look at a tight end that you would want on your team, he's fantastic. Don't get me wrong. He's the 3rd best tight end in the league. He is better than Gronk at this point, right? But when the season's over, we'll have to look at the stats and see who's got better stats and better opportunities at that point. But I think Kelce and Kittle, if you look at fans that aren't Niner fans, Chiefs fans, Eagles fans, from those 3 tight ends, and you ask other people that are fans of the game, who would you put at the top? I don't think anyone would say that Zach Ertz is the best tight end over Kittle or Kelsey. He's still an amazing tight end. He's got an opportunity to be in the Hall of Fame. That's facts. But there's a little bit of a gap between Kittle and Kelsey, and then the next tier, which would be Zach Ertz, and that's facts to me. So, and that doesn't really mean that he's a bad player or anything. I mean, shit, there's 32 fucking teams in the league. Sometimes teams run double tight end sets. So if you have 2 tight ends on your roster, right, most teams have 3 or more. But if you have 2, that's 64 tight ends. So to be number 3 out of 64, it's pretty fucking good. So let's just be real about it. Rob Gronkowski is not top 3 Michael Sachs Jr. That's what he says. I agree with you. But at the end of the season, I think there's an opportunity where maybe he leapfrogs Zach Ertz and some of these other guys, and he could have top 3 stats when it's all said and done with Tom Brady and him, especially if they're going to be going to the playoffs. Just saying. Jomo says, suit up, TG. We will see. Gerald Black and Gold Light Toes, I don't understand the rankings or ratings. It seems like they're from 2 years ago. Oh, well, as I play with everyone on the game except the Falcons. Not the Falcons, the Falcons. Okay, I see you. Hetzel says, Rob is good. He is 3 or 4. I think he's going to be a lot better than people think because, like I said, he's only 31. He's not Brady's age where he's like 43. He's not even 40 or late 30s. I mean, and he took a year off. His body's going to be in good shape. He lost weight. You know what I mean? The body's going to be healed. He smoked all that weed, right? All the CBD. I mean, why is Gronk just going to be, going from one of the greatest tight ends of all time to, he's dirt and he can't play anymore? Like, what is this perception? Is it just because of the hate for Tom Brady and Gronk? Regardless if they would have came to my Bucs or another team or would have stayed with the Patriots. There's a lot of hate there with Brady, and Gronk and the success and the cheating and everything that they've had. I get it, right? But let's not sleep on Gronk. If you think Brady's old and he can't do it, you'll see. You'll see. But I think Gronk has a great chance to show everyone, hey, I'm a top 5 tight end in this league, and don't forget how great I am and how I was. And he hasn't really fallen off the edge of the cliff. And if you actually go and look at stats. I mean, I know some of the stats are old because he did a lot of it with Brady and he took a year off. But Gronk's NFL ranks among tight ends since 2010, right, since he came in. 79 TDs, first out of all tight ends. 7,861 yards, second overall out of all tight ends. 521 receptions, that's 5th, not bad. 15 yards per catch, second overall out of all tight ends, and 68.4 yards per game, which is first. And a lot of that shit happened, as we know, with New England in their heyday when they were doing things. But let's not forget on how great Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski are. And that's facts. All right, Ertz, Kittle, Kelsey are the top 3, not in order. Trey Holiday, okay. Now, Kelsey has better stats, and he actually showed up in the playoffs. I think they are both perfect for the respective teams, though, agreed. But I do have Kelsey as my number 1 tight end, Kittle number 2, Ertz number 3. Jay Wells says, Gronk is more injury-prone than Sharp and Gonzalez ever was. But your body is going to take some hits. But also, too, Gronk has made some spectacular plays and really, came up big. Think about it. Do you remember a time where Tony Gonzalez won a Super Bowl for the Falcons or the Chiefs? Do you remember a time where Shannon Sharp made that key grab on 3rd down or at the end of the game for them to win the Super Bowl? You don't. What you do remember is in that game against the fucking Rams where Gronk was beat the fuck up, right? And the game was really low scoring and Brady threaded the fucking needle, right? And Gronk made that big catch to help them win the game. Gronk is a great playmaker. Let's not forget it. And I would be saying these same type of things about Brady and Gronk even if they weren't on my Buccaneers. I mean, let's just face the facts. These are 2 of the best players at their respective positions that we've ever seen of all time. Brady's getting older, so people want to doubt him. Gronk took a year off, right? Body was injured. They want to doubt him. But I wouldn't bet against guys like that. If you got Brady and Gronk on the team, you got a chance. You got a chance to make history. And they're motivated players. They don't just sit there and collect the cheddar and just see what happens. I mean, they're trying to win a Super Bowl for Tampa and put them on the map in these next couple years. It's not just like, we're just going to hang out and, be buddies and get drunk after the games. I mean, these guys really are focused to get shit done. And I can respect that. Even though Gronk is a party animal, we know Tom Brady doesn't drink, drinks all the water, vegetables, TB12, takes care of his body. Because if he didn't, he wouldn't even be able to be in the league at this point, based off this age that he's at 43, and that's facts. But Gronk does have some injury problems, but he still is one of the most spectacular players at tight end we've ever seen, period, whether you love him or you hate him. That's facts. Gronk is washed up WWE star. Oh, man. He might go back, obviously with him and his boys there. He's got a couple buddies over there. So we'll see. Maybe he'll end up going back. Mojo Rawley, his boy. Goat James says Kelsey over Kittle. Okay. SA says no. Tyler Hetzel, Rob is good, but not the best. But what happens if Gronkowski ends up having like 14 touchdowns and he ends up having like 1,200 yards and he's number one out of all the tight ends stat-wise? Then what is everyone going to say? What is everyone going to say then? You know what I mean? If they get to the NFC Championship game and he's got 70 grabs for 1,200 yards and 14 TDs, what are you going to say? Oh, some kind of bullshit or whatever, right? So, you can say what you want, but the connection and the opportunities are going to be there for Rob. And if you think about it, he's probably got the most opportunity out of any tight end going into this season based off the chemistry that he's going to have with his quarterback. That's facts. You're going to get opportunities with Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz, but not as many opportunities, I feel, as Gronk is going to get per game. The looks, even though Zach Ertz is one of the main options on the Eagles. And first down, second down, third down, it doesn't matter. Right? Same thing goes with Travis Kelce. He's not the number one option all the time. He's a good check down guy. They always are going to look at him. But look at all the fucking weapons the Chiefs have. Look at all the weapons the Niners have as well. So the ball will get spread around quite a bit. Tokuso says swap Kelce and Kittle. Okay. Fighting words. Everyone wants to be able to put their 2 cents in. This is fucking broke the goddamn internet earlier today. Gronk's body is built with Band-Aids and Gatorade. He's done. I disagree. And you better hope that Saints fans, you better hope the Bucs don't play you in the playoffs, because I guarantee if we play you in the playoffs, it's going to be a battle to the very fucking end. And I'm confident in the Bucs. Like I said, I haven't been confident in my team since 2007, but they got enough pieces at this point, even though some of the pieces are slept on, doubted. People think that they got nothing left. We'll see. Don't underestimate Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski. $50 donation by Odin's Child. Bang! He said, this list sucked, LOL. Northwest Sports Fanatics. Chiefs Kingdom, stand up. My guy. Love you. Appreciate you. Too Fast 49 says, Kittle all around. Definitely you can argue Kittle and Kelsey are right up there. Kelsey isn't as good as blocking as George Kittle. You could argue that, but Kelsey's a pretty damn good blocker. You got to think, how many games as a 49er fan, right, have you watched of the Chiefs in the last couple seasons? And people that are Chiefs Kingdom fans, how many games of the 49ers have you watched? Maybe primetime matchups, Monday night, Sunday night, but probably not as much as a hardcore sports fanatic that ends up watching half or more than half of the games of that team in the season. Because that's really the only way you're going to know. You're not going to be able to base it off just one primetime matchup or two. You know what I mean? You got to be able to kind of get a body of work to be able to get some analysis and get a good example of what you think the player is going to be. That's just the way I do it. That's facts. Bucs are going to struggle. I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it, SA. You'll see. Fly, Eagles, fly, Tyler Hetzel says. I like the Eagles' chances this year. Ruiz, LA Rams. Tyler Higbee. I like that name. And definitely Jared Goff and the Goffense is getting slept on. You're getting a lot more love in the media for the Cardinals and Kyler Murray and D-Hop and Isaiah Simmons and Chandler Jones and Budda Baker and all them. So I get it. But that's the way that the Rams like it. You know what I mean? You don't need to talk about them. You know what I mean? Let Sean McVay do his thing. And if Cam Akers is good as I think he's going to be, you know what I mean? They'll be able to spread the football around. No more Brandon Cooks. So Ruiz, this is the position that you like to be in as a Rams fan. You know what I mean? You don't need to really, stick your chest and puff your chest out and say, hey, I'm the Rams, I'm here. Because a lot of people don't think that you're going to do anything this season. But I think that's exactly what the Rams want. Okay, sleep on us, right? That we're not going to do anything. And you got to think, with losing Andrew Whitworth and Todd Gurley and a few pieces on that O-line, they still won fucking 9 games when that team easily could have won 7 or less. You know what I mean? So that shows you how great of a coach McVay was, even at a point where he struggled from the year before when they went to the Super Bowl. Teams started to kind of figure out his play calling and his schemes. But to get to 9 wins when your team is nowhere near what it was the year before, very impressive to me. Not a lot of teams would have been able to lose like a Ndamukong Suh from a couple years ago and then him to come to my Bucs, you know what I mean? And then lose Todd Gurley from being an efficient back. Now you got Malcolm Brown and, you have a few other pieces like Cam Akers. You have other options there, but they're not Todd Gurley, not TG400, right? But I have a lot of faith and Cam Akers to see what they do. So I don't have Higbee in the top 10, but he's just right outside the top 10 with an opportunity if he gets enough targets. I think he's not going to get enough targets to really get the proper love to be a top 10 tight end, but sometimes he does play like a top 10 tight end. But like I said, Jared Goff and the Goffense, you guys have so many weapons, they don't really target one guy more than the other. Besides, Todd Gurley back in the day, that was kind of their main guy. But this year, it's going to be Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is going to get a lot of those looks, and he has a great opportunity to show, hey, I'm a bounce back player of the year besides him and A.J. Green. I think these guys coming back from the injuries really have something to prove, and I think Cooper Kupp, right, fantasy football, A.J. Green, these guys are going to blow it out of the fucking water, and I'm really excited to see both guys, comeback player of the year. They're both going to be in the running for that. That's facts. Too Fast 49, that's not true, Shrek says. Kelsey can block pretty well. He just doesn't because the Chiefs are a pass-heavy offense, and a lot of those guys that if he was going to try to block, those wide receivers in the Legion of Zoom are already fucking 15 yards down the field. He can't block for them because he can't fucking catch up to them. Everyone's too fucking fast, right? Tyreek the Freak Hill, Sammy Watkins, McCole Hartman, all of them. There's burners down the field. But I do agree Kittle might be a little better at blocking, but Kelsey's a little bit better than people give him credit for. He's a gamer. He's a great Hall of Fame football player. That's facts. All right, Ertz is better than Gronk, and Goddard is better than Olsen. Just doesn't start to Ertz. And I'm excited to see when that day comes. Grim, you feel me? Goddard at some point, but then you get the haters of the Eagles, or even the Eagles fans saying trade Ertz, trade Ertz, trade Ertz. Try to get like a Julio or something like that, and Goddard could be a starter, absolutely. You know what I mean? But I think the talent level between Goddard and Ertz, there's a little bit of a gap, but Goddard has potential to be on that Ertz level in a few years if he gets a shot to be able to be the man, and that's facts. Tokuso, Chiefs Kingdom, baby, in the building. What to do? Ryan Schreck says Kittle doesn't have as good of hands as Kelsey because he's a run-first offense. I don't know. Both hands are good. One thing that you can say with facts, with Kittle, he's got more speed, more breakaway ability down the field. He's more built like a wide receiver than a tight end, George Kittle. And that's why a lot of people like him, because he's built like a wide receiver, which is very rare. Michael Sachs Jr., Rob is not even top 10. Sorry. Well, that's just being a hater. So you'll be able to eat your words, Michael Sachs Jr., when you end up seeing Gronk. He's going to have top 5 tight end numbers at the end of the year, and you're basing off that what? Because you don't like Gronk, you don't like the Bucs, you don't like the Patriots. He hasn't played last year, so he's just not going to be a good player. I mean, if his body is healthy, you're telling me that you don't think that he can get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 touchdowns and get 600 or more yards? He can. And there's a great opportunity that if he gets proper looks and he gets 50 to 70 grabs, which is very obtainable in that offense, because on third down, they're going to have that check down guy. So I think, 1,000 to 1,200 yards and 8 to 12 touchdowns, right, and 50 to 70 grabs is definitely attainable if they can stay healthy. That's the big if. If Gronk and Brady can stay healthy, but I actually have them, in my opinion, I think that they're going to go to the playoffs. I really do. And if they don't go to the playoffs both years, at least one of these 2 years, they're going to go unless injuries hold them back. They have the talent to do it. I mean, you can't tell me that the offense isn't going to be a top 5, right? You got Tom Brady, Gronk, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate, arguably one of the best trios at tight end. Then you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, 2 of the top 6 wide receivers in the league based off last season. Right? Godwin doesn't get a lot of respect, but his hands are money. Mike Evans doesn't get a whole lot of respect either. There's only been a couple guys to start the first 6 seasons, right, in the NFL with 1,000 yards or more. And guess who? Mike Evans and Randy Moss. So let's put some respect on Mike Evans' name. He's a little bit better than people give him credit for, just like Keenan Allen, another guy that gets fucking disrespected all the time. But you'll see. Just because the Bucs haven't been relevant since 2007, we are building the roster to be able to make some moves. I'm not saying the Bucs are going to go to the NFC Championship game. I'm not saying they're going to go to the Super Bowl and win, right? Because obviously I think the AFC is the top dog, and it's the Chiefs and the Ravens game to lose. I would be shocked if anyone besides those 2 teams win the Super Bowl this season. I don't know if any NFC team can stack up to the Chiefs and the Ravens this season, and that's facts. Too Fast 49. I see what you're saying, but Kittle has got good hands. He does. He does. SA says Brady and Gronk both washed. We'll see. Calvin Griffin, skip in the building. Too Fast 49. And yes, Kittle isn't a run-heavy offense, and he still puts up 1,000-yard seasons. He's a great player. Great breakaway ability, good hands. He's just a game breaker. Facts. Trick says, Too Fast 49. Kelsey can actually block pretty good. Not as good as Kittle. Kittle isn't good as catching as Kelsey. I don't know if I would say that. They're both great at catching. And I think that they're perfect for the respective teams. I feel you. So they don't have back problems Gronk has. Yeah, he definitely has had some issues with the back. You know what I mean? But, you got to look at just besides the rivalry aside, Saints-Buccaneers or your hate for Gronk, there is some potential to have a good breakout season for both guys. That's facts. He said, but he didn't take a year off football. But just because he took a year off, what happens if he ends up having an amazing season this year and other players take a year off to rest their bodies? It could be a new trend that ends up happening where you get guys that take a year off to kind of recoup and then come back. But like I said, I'll never, ever sleep on Gronk or Brady, ever, regardless if we're on my Bucs, the Patriots, or any other team. They're just too good. They're smart, seasoned vets. They know how to play the game. And obviously there was some cheating involved with the Patriots, but how much of that was really Brady and Gronk? You know what I mean? A lot of it was Bill Belichick, let's be real. Tyler Hetzel says, top teams in 2020 in no order: Eagles, Niners, Chiefs, Saints, Ravens, and maybe Buccaneers. But there's always teams that surprise everyone that go from the bottom to the top. So you're basing it off last season, which is easy to do. That's what, Fox Sports will tell you, CBS Sports, ESPN, Skip and Shannon, Colin Cowherd. They're all going to say that. But in reality, some of the top teams from last year may step back a little bit, and maybe the Rams overachieve. Maybe the Cardinals overachieve. Maybe the Lions from Detroit overachieve. It always happens every year. It's teams that you just don't expect to take that jump, and it's like a year or two early. Like the Niners, did we really think that they were going to, go and have all those losing records and then to go from like 4-12 to like 12-4? I mean, that shit just doesn't happen. But when you get guys like Nick Bosa, he really changed the game. Deebo Samuel, they had a great draft, but it shows you one or two guys and great play calling can really make a difference in an organization. And you got to be able to keep your O-line healthy. You got to have good quarterback play. You know what I mean? There's a lot of factors involved. But anything is possible in the NFL to go from fourth in the division to first or third to first. And that's facts. Bucs will be third in the division at best. Disagree. We're getting second or first. You'll see. We're coming for your Saints. Bucs overrated 8-8 at best. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, Michael Sachs Jr. You're smoking. What are you smoking? 8-8? You think they're going to be that bad? No fucking way. Unless injuries happen. There's just no way. That's like 8-8 is like the Panthers record. 8-8, 7-9. We have way too much talent. Top 5 offense, and the defense has got some pieces too. You will see. We will prove you wrong. Ryan Trick says, I think that they should both be 97s because they each can do something better than the other. Yeah, that's a good one. I say 98s. You know what I mean? Because in all reality, you could rarely put both of them at like 99s or 98s. I mean, there is a significant gap between those two and Ertz, in my opinion. Official Young Nola, that's why you respected, because you keep it real. Damn right I do. I keep it real. I give credit where credit's due, Nola. And you're a big Saints guy, right? And I give Saints plenty of credit. But let's not just shit on my Buccaneers just because we haven't been relevant. Deep down, Saints fans, you can say that you're not scared or worried, but the path to get to the Super Bowl just got fucking harder with the Buccaneers being good in the division. That's the last thing that you want. Because for the last few years, you've been able to beat the brakes off the Bucs, the Panthers, and Falcons, and you could just play mediocre or good or above average, and you're skating in with 10 to 14 wins. But now it's going to be a little bit more difficult. And we'll see what the Panthers do too. I think people are sleeping on them a little bit. I think they're a year or two away from really making a name for themselves with Coach Rule, but they're going to be on the prowl pretty soon as well. That's facts. Miami's going to be great soon too, Tyler Hetzel. I agree. I think if they can have 2 more solid drafts, look for Miami to hit a wild card with Tua in the next 3 years. I think it's very possible if they keep drafting the way that I feel that they're going to draft and addressing certain positions. I would have really liked them to get DeAndre Swift as their running back to pair up with Tua in this last year's draft. But I do like the way that they have been drafting, and if they can stay healthy, right, they can definitely compete with the Bills and to be that top-notch team in the AFC East. And obviously the Patriots will still be relevant as well. Jets will be at the very bottom because they just don't know how to play football, unfortunately, with Sam Darnold. I mean, I love Jamal Adams. I feel sorry for him. But other than that, I mean, it's a dumpster fire over there. That's facts. Let's see here. Sanders really going to ball out this year. Emmanuel Sanders, damn right. That's facts. 1A, 1B. Goddard is the future. Agreed. I like him. Eagles have 2 amazing tight ends. Agreed. I like Goddard a lot. I watched him. Boyle. Okay, Troll Patrol. I see you. Hetzel says Goddard's going to be good. I agree. Trick says 99 overall. Mahomes, 95 overall. Tyreek Hill, 99 speed. Change of direction. Madden 21. It's over, he says. I know, man. Anyone that picks the Chiefs, it's going to be crazy. Gerald Black and Gold Light Toes. He's LOLing all the way to the bank. There's so many Saints and Chiefs fans in here. Damn right there is. Winston not starting, official Young Nola. Well, if Drew Brees gets hurt, do you really think that they're going to start Taysom Hill over Jameis Winston based off his role on the team? I doubt it. They're not going to want to take away from that Swiss Army knife, which they probably should, but the Jameis Winston can't play any other position. Taysom Hill could play, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. You could throw him up on multiple positions, kick returner, punt returner. He could do it all. But Jameis Winston can only play quarterback. So I really highly doubt that, Coach Payton would be that ballsy to be like, all right, Jameis, you're third string, but who knows? We will see it. But I don't want Drew to get injured. Let's not talk about that. Even though I'm a Bucs fan, I want the Saints to be fully healthy so that way when we compete with y'all, and hopefully we can split and go 1-1. But I really want this first game in the Dome, because if we can win this game in the Dome, if we lose the later game in the season at home to you guys as a revenge game, fine. But it means more to the Buccaneers this first game to get this dub on the road, because no one's going to give us a shot with Brady and Gronk. And just winning in the Dome is almost fucking impossible. There's only a few teams that can go in there and compete. Maybe the Bucs will be able to hang around. The Packers are a team that could probably hang around. The Seahawks, the Chiefs, the Ravens. There's not a lot of teams that could really compete for 4 quarters in the Dome. Usually you can compete for like a quarter in the Dome, maybe 2, and then they pull away and there's nothing you can do about it. But maybe this is the changing of the guard. At least I'm hoping it is. I want it to be competitive. Build that rivalry with you guys, so we actually have something to shit talk and be looking forward to, so you guys don't keep beating the brakes off me like you guys did in years past. That's facts. Too Fast 49 said, I think I'm the only 49er fan here. We got a lot of 49er fans that'll come through in the building. It just depends on the stream and what's going on. So you won't be the only one, Too Fast 49. I got 49er roots in my blood too. 8-8 is the ceiling, huh? Okay. We will see. Not going to happen. Imagine if the Saints trade 2021 and 2022 first-round picks to get Trevor Lawrence. That's not happening. Trevor Lawrence is going to go to the Bears or the Jags, and he's going to be able to change that franchise and turn it around. You know what I mean? If that's the more realistic expectation. Let's be real there. Hetzel says Wentz should be more than an 84. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, I think he's the 4th best quarterback in the league. You know what I mean? I'm not an Eagles fan, but definitely he was disrespected. Probably the lowest rated player out of any player based off point-wise. I think that he's probably like a 91-ish with room to get better as the season goes on. But 84 is a real slap in the face. I don't know why Madden thinks that he's that low. He ended up staying healthy for the whole season. 4,000 yards passing. Everyone else around him got hurt. He had a fantastic year. And then we saw Miles Sanders blossom. Your boy watches the Eagles, okay? I'm not just one of those guys that just watches the Bucs and that's it. That's facts. NFC South in here, strong minus Falcons is usually, no Falcons fans in the building. Calvin Griffin, 24.99, my guy. Appreciate you. Lenny D in the building. Fly, Eagles fly. He said, how is Gronk rated higher than Ertz? Yeah, not right. Not right whatsoever, but, it's almost like maybe that is what they're projecting him at the end of the season, so they just gave him that, Tom Brady, Gronk chemistry points, but like I said, Kelsey Kittle, 98, 1 and 1B. Then I would have Zach Ertz at a 95 at 3. I'd have Gronk at 4 at 90 just because of the Brady-Gronk connection. And then at 5, probably Evan Ingram. And then 6, I would have a tie with Mark Andrews, Darren Waller. And then after that, I'd have Jared Cook. And then I would have Austin Hooper around that same level. Take out Greg Olsen, and let's put Eric Ebron, since he's on the Steelers. I'd have him on the list. So that's how I would break it down, based off the tight ends. And congratulations again to Can't Guard Mike. Michael Thomas, the 5th number 99. I thought it might be Quentin Nelson or B-Wags, Bobby Wagner. But if you look at the season that he had, I saw a leak, and it said that Michael Thomas, and this was like a week ago, Michael Thomas and DeAndre Hopkins were both 98s. So I was like, fuck, really? Because you just never know in Madden. Sometimes they get it right, but sometimes the ratings are really fucking off. So I thought, oh my God, are they really going to give Michael Thomas a 98 after one of the most amazing seasons I've ever seen? But also, too, I was also thinking, okay, he's only scored 9 touchdowns 3 years in a row. He's never broke double digits. Is that why? That they maybe wouldn't give him the 99? But thankfully, if you look at his stats and the yards and the catches that he had, it's well-deserved. He's the best wide receiver in the game. I know, Lenny D, you like DeAndre Hopkins more as the number one, and a few other people have other names, Tyreek Hill and some other guys that they like. But I honestly feel that Michael Thomas has been the best wide receiver in the game for the last couple years. In years past, it was AB, fly like a butterfly, sting like AB, Antonio Brown. And then Julio was always in that top 3, consideration. Hopkins, to me, has always been the number 1 or number 2 receiver with AB. Julio always been number 3. I've never really had Julio higher than 3 just because I expect more from him. You got a body built like Megatron, give me stats like Megatron. And you let me down because you just don't get in the goddamn end zone enough. And it's not like you got a shitty quarterback. You got goddamn Matt Ryan, who's going to be a potential Hall of Famer when his career's over. So you can't tell me that, this reason or that reason or, red zone looks. He's not that good in the red zone. He's more of a guy that, from the 20 to the 20, and then he can break loose and then run into the end zone. But if you're on the 20-yard line in the red zone and you're doing little fade routes, you remember the Eagles, in the playoffs games in the past, and some of those opponents the Falcons have played in the past. Usually when it's in the red zone, it's like 1 or 2 opportunities out of 10. Julio will make an awesome one-handed grab or a toe drag swag, but a lot of times the corners or safeties are really good on him, and they'll bat it away or just tackle the shit out of him, and he just kind of disappoints me, from year to year. For a guy that's built like a Megatron, Calvin Johnson, he just doesn't live up to that Megatron billing. And some people think Julio is the best wide receiver in the game, which it baffles the shit out of me. He definitely gets the yards and he gets the grabs, the catches, but he doesn't get into the end zone. And you need that to be able to win football games. And that's facts. Waller should be top 5. O. Henry says, I love me some Darren Waller. I had him in fantasy like week 1, week 2. I picked him up, rode him all the way to the end of the season. I like him just as much as Mark Andrews, probably a little more, to be honest. I think he is a top 5 talent. But Evan Ingram, to me, is a little bit better than Waller. But Waller is on the rise, just like Mark Andrews is. And at some point, you're going to have both of those guys, number 4, number 5, Mark Andrews, Darren Waller. I think that they're going to be in that mix with obviously Ertz and Kittle and Kelsey. They won't be as good as those 3, but you can have Gronk slide down a few spots as he gets older and leaves the league. And I think Waller and Andrews have a great potential to run a top 5 tight end ranking for years to come. They both have amazing quarterbacks with Lamar, but on the flip side, Carr's not amazing. Mariota's not amazing either. But I'm interested to see if they go with Mariota and he gets a little bit more rapport and connection with Waller. Oregon in the tight ends has a special kind of connection in Eugene. So I'm kind of waiting to see if they make that move with John Gruden and Mike Mayock. But we will see. Goat James says, Lenny D. Ertz is overrated. I disagree. I don't think he's overrated at all. Where's Witten? Oh, Henry, don't make me laugh. Trolling. Kittle is like a little kid, and I love it. So is Kelsey. Both of them. They play like, they just really love the game and just love being out there. It's very infectious, and that's why people love those guys. They love Kittle and they love Kelsey. That's facts. I'm almost caught up, guys. All right, Ertz isn't overrated. He's rated perfectly. And the thing is, on this particular list, he's underrated. He should be a 95. Gronk should be a 90. Ertz has been in the top 3 tight end behind Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz has been behind Kelsey and Kittle, this whole time. And before Kittle came around, Zach Ertz was the second best tight end in the league behind Kelsey. That's facts. I mean, if you watched Eagles and you watched them play, before Kittle came around, Ertz was second best. He never was as good as Travis Kelsey, but he was right there. Maybe a couple points behind. Very reliable. Like him a lot. People just like to talk trash about other people's teams. You know how it goes. Troll Patrol. Kyle Rudolph not in the ranks. That's a good one. I know Kirk Cousins, he doesn't really go to him as much, but now, since Stephon Diggs is on the Bills, maybe we'll be able to see more rapport with Kyle Rudolph, and maybe his stats will go way, way up. So that Troll Patrol, using your brain and going deep and thinking about the other tight ends that would be in there, that's a good one. I definitely would go Andrews and Waller up higher, but for Olsen, you could throw him out, and then you could throw Ebron or a Kyle Rudolph in. I like it. Good selection right there, Troll Patrol. Six Ink in the building. What to do? He said, me too. A lot of NFL fans don't see it, but Kittle will be number one for a while. I think so. It may be sooner than later, right? But once Kelsey's out, he'll be the best guy, and he'll get overly paid. Kittle will be the highest paid tight end by far when he gets his contract, and he's going to have a contract so big, they'll compare it to like wide receiver money. It's going to be very, very big and kind of set the standard for the tight ends in the future. He's going to be that type of talent. That's facts. Troll Patrol, I'm a fanatic of talent and greatness, as well as like Orion and Marcus. You are, Troll Patrol. Facts. Lone Stars, I'm a Seahawks fan, but I respect your excitement for your team. Going to be a solid team. Best luck in the upcoming season. You too. Dangerous. They got some nice weapons. Tyler, get to the door and lock it. DK Metcalf. That's sexy. I mean, the defense is a little shaky, right? Obviously with the Legion of Boom, and having to kind of recoup some of those pieces and seeing what you're going to get. But Bobby Wagner is still there. No more Frank Clark. That really hurt. Definitely helped the Chiefs out win the Super Bowl, right? But the offense for the Seahawks should be nice. And one of the most underrated running backs in the entire league, Chris Carson. I love him. He always gets disrespected. I think he finished the year like 5th. Last season, I did a couple videos ago based off his yards and what he was at, and it's just kind of sickening to me why you get these guys that get disrespected. I actually got my paperwork right here. Let's take a quick look at it because I keep all my notes and whatnot. So let's take a look. Chris Carson finished 5th, 1,230 yards, 7 TDs last season, and I think that you could get a lot more from him at that point as well. Absolutely love him. Underrated Chris Carson. Because why? Because he's Chris Carson. He's just not a guy that gets a whole lot of love in the media, but he just brings it. Definitely has some injury issues as well, but I like him a lot. People really don't give him the proper respect. But if you pick him in fantasy with a guy like Derrick Henry and Carson's your number 2, you probably know what happened. You ended up going to the championship game if you end up getting guys like that are going to be solid studs for years to come. Kelsey will leave KC when his contract is up. We'll have to see how he does with the next team. Well, he's a Hall of Famer. I think Kittle, Kelsey, and Ertz are all Hall of Famers, and you can say the same for Gronk. Those 4 guys are Hall of Fame tight ends when it's all said and done. Patrick and Kelsey, better chemistry. Well, you have Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, it's like a big difference. Jimmy Garoppolo, Jimmy G, Pone Star Jimmy, compared to Patrick fucking the clone Mahomes. Showtime, it's a little different. You know what I mean? Patrick Mahomes is like the best quarterback, arguably maybe of all time, and you're going for a guy that was the backup to Tom Brady, who still has room to grow to get better. Nowhere near a Pro Bowl talent just yet. You know what I mean? But give him some time to kind of get his legs underneath him. I don't know if he'll ever live up to the Joe Montana, Steve Young, Jeff Garcia type of mantra. They may have to look at some other quarterback at some point to be able to get the Lombardi or to be able to compete with the Ravens and the Chiefs, because I'm just not sure if he's the guy. I like him, but I don't know if I like him that much, to say that he's good enough to win a Super Bowl, because I just don't think he is. And that's just me being honest. And like I said, I was a 49er kid growing up, but I just don't know. He's kind of turnover prone to me. He doesn't really make good decisions in the clutch. Maybe he can get better as years go on, but I just don't trust him just yet. But that doesn't mean I won't trust him forever, just not right now. And I think Too Fast 49 will agree. You know what I mean? There's been some times where he's done amazing things and won games for you, but then there's been also times where you're like, what the fuck? Like, who are you throwing to? You're like, you threw like a Jameis Winston throw. Jimmy G, what are you doing? So I get it. Holy moly donut shop. What to do, my guy? I highly doubt the NFL will make it through week 4. Don't say that. Don't say that, holy moly. Come on now. Don't say that. So I hope the Hawks don't pick up AB. Imagine if AB came to the Tampa Bay Bucs. Woo! Woo! I don't need him, though. That's facts. If the Bucs go 5-11, they might as well tank for Lawrence. I don't think they'll go 5-11 unless Gronk and Brady both get hurt, and I don't want that to happen. Lenny D said that would piss me off as an Eagles fan if the Seahawks got AB. Well, still got Jadeveon Clowney and a few other guys floating around for talent, so we'll have to see where it goes. Lone Star in the building, A guy in the building, Raiders. Goat James in the building. Cowgirls ain't going nowhere, Lenny D says. I don't see JJ Trilla arguing with you back in the stream just yet. So Nathan Dotson in the building. What to do, my guy? So I would say he's numbers. Number 1, he's a deep threat, not as fast, but the 3 best Saints wide receivers, but not the best in the game here. So just don't jump off the screen to me. He's good, but nah. We'll see, Nathan Dotson. Everyone's got an opinion. Mariota in his best wet dream isn't beating Carr. I disagree. I really disagree. Carr hasn't been shit since the injury when he had the MVP season. Mariota just needs a change of scenery. People said that same shit about Ryan Tannehill, and look what he ended up doing. I think Mariota, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a Ducks guy, I think Mariota gives them a better chance to win. You can run an RPO with them. You know what I mean? You got weapons with Tyrell Williams. You can run it with Josh Jacobs. You got Waller. I think Mariota, with this change of scenery, he can beat out Carr for that job. I honestly feel that. I would take Dak Prescott over Carr. I don't think Carr's that great, to be honest, guy. You know what I mean? You can roll with him if you're a Raider guy, and that's the guy you've had for the last couple years. But do you really think you can be competitive with Tyrod Taylor and Justin Herbert and Drew Lock and with all those weapons that the Broncos have, Patrick Mahomes? That AFC West is tough. Do you really feel confident in Carr? I mean, he hasn't really proven that he could get back to that point where he was before the injury. Just saying. I call it how I see it. I think Mariota gives you a better chance to win games and to be able to get somewhere. And I feel within the first 3 years in Vegas, the Raiders of Vegas can make a wild card. And this is the first year in Vegas. So sometime between, not this year, but the following 3 years after that, there's a shot for the Raiders to make a wild card if they keep drafting well. Right? I like Abram and some of these picks, Cleveland Farrell. They've drafted really well lately within the last couple years. Just saying, Mariota's not as bad as you think. I mean, if Mariota ends up being the starter guy and you get nine wins this year or next year and you make the wild card, are you still going to say that? Fuck no. You're going to roll with them. Raider fans just want to win. And I just don't think you're going to be able to win with him. Just saying. You feel me? Madden 21 says Rob Gronkowski is the third best tight end. Are they on crack? A Bucs fan reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy like Odin's Child did. Bang! $50. Gerald Black and Gold Light Toes. Bang! $2. And Calvin Griffin. $25. Bang! My boys. So as we go over the list really quick, tight end overall, and this Madden, it's a video game. Kittle won at a 98. Travis Kelce, 297. Gronk, 3 at 95, which caused a fucking uproar on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. 4, Zach Ertz at a 90. Austin Hooper, formerly of the Falcons, now on Baker Mayfield and the Browns, right? So he's there with an 89. Evan Ingram, 88 for the Giants and Danny Dimes. Jared Cook with Drew Brees, 87. Mark Andrews, 85. Greg Olsen on the list. Greg Olsen. This isn't Greg Olsen from like 4 or 5 years ago. This is like Greg Olsen now. Scratching my head there. Okay? And then Darren Waller, very underrated, right there at number 10. So if you look at that list, I go, me personally, Kelce, and Kittle. 98 overall for both of them, 1A, 1B, and I would have Kelce at the top spot, even though Kittle had the better, arguably, season, right? But I feel that Kelce's more clutch, but Kittle's numbers say that he deserves to be on the top spot in Madden, so I get it. But for me, Kelce, Kittle, same rating, 98 at the top. Gronk, number 3, no. Especially not right now. You know what I mean? That's like at the end of the season, if he has 70 grabs, 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, then that 95 rating in third overall would justify. But you need to swap him and Ertz. Gronk needs to go down to number 4 or 5, right? And have Zach Ertz at a 95 at 3. That's facts, right? And then you got Evan Ingram. You could even have Evan Ingram over Gronk at that point. You could have Evan Ingram at a 91, Gronk at a 90. Right? And then you got Mark Andrews and Darren Waller, probably my 2 favorite young up-and-coming tight ends, right behind them with 88 or 89 ratings. And then I would have Jared Cook, Austin Hooper, and some of these other guys below them. And I would throw Ebron on the list instead of Greg Olsen. And that's facts, just because he's with Big Ben, the Big Ben Revenge Tour, right? Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, James Conner, Big Ben. And then now Ebron gets to play with a healthy Big Ben. I mean, there's an opportunity there where Ebron could get double-digit tight end touchdowns this season. Just saying, it's definitely possible. And then I also saw another list that I can maybe possibly bring up if I still have it. Let me look to see. Did I still save it? Or not, I did. All right, here we go. I'm going to bring this up on the screen, and this will be something that we talk about before the show ends. Bang, look at that. This came out just before I did the stream. Let's take a quick peek at this. Okay, I'm going to move this around. We'll stack these guys on top of each other. Okay, editing on the fly, you feel me? All right, let's take a peek at this real quick. Editing on the fly. Okay, scooch that down just a little. All right, look at these Madden brothers. This is another topic that I wanted to go over. A very, very interesting topic. You know, I could do my own show off this, you know, tomorrow or later on today. But look at these names. Brothers in the NFL with the highest Madden ratings. Look at these numbers. Who, in your opinion, is the best family? Jason Kelce at center, amazing. Travis Kelce. A lot of y'all didn't even know that the Kelce bros were Kelce bros. I mean, if you're really hardcore in football, right, you knew, right? But if you're just a straight Eagle fan or Chief fan, or maybe you're a fan of not those teams, you're like, oh my God, they're related? Because everyone knows J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt are related. The McCourty bros are related. Nick and Joey Bosa are related. But I think that not a lot of people, I would say maybe 70% of NFL fans knew right off bat that those guys were related. Like, you heard of Travis Kelce, but unless you're an Eagles fan, you're like, Jason Kelce? Who? And then if you actually, you know, watched him in the Super Bowl or on their run when they were great, you're like, wow, look at that talent. Offensive lineman, tight end, right? J.J. Watt, DN, and then TJ could play, you know, linebacker, DN. He's kind of like a combo guy. Nick Bosa and Joey Bosa, same. You could have him at outside linebacker or DN. Shit, you could put him at D tackle if you wanted to. And the McCourty bros, you could throw them at corner or safety. McCourty bros by far, right, are at the bottom of the family list. But still a lot of talent for Devin and Jason McCourty. You know what I mean? But just not the same type of Hall of Fame talent. Because is Jason McCourty and Devin McCourty Hall of Famers? No. Are they good football players? Yes, that's facts. Nick and Joey Bosa are at the early stages of their career, but if they can stay relatively healthy, both of them could be in the Hall of Fame. Facts. J.J. Watt is already a Hall of Famer. T.J. Watt is on his way. Will T.J. Watt ever surpass J.J. Watt? Probably not, because J.J. Watt had such amazing Defensive Player of the Year stats. But if T.J. Watt can play another 15 years and never get hurt and just put up amazing numbers, that gap between J.J. Watt and T.J. Watt might shrink a little bit. And T.J. Watt might be a little bit closer than what you think, because we always have J.J. Watt up there as like, you know, Khalil Mack and like these top dogs, Von Miller, you know, like these G's, Aaron Donalds, where they're just once in a generation kind of guy. Because I would put J.J. Watt in the same kind of category as Aaron Donald, you know, even though that he's gotten hurt the last couple seasons. But when J.J. Watt is healthy, he is a force out there on the football field. There's not very many guys that can compete, you know, in that same type of mentality, physicality, you know, arms, footwork, the smarts, you know. But Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce, I mean, as far as offensive linemen are concerned, that nasty, and then Travis Kelce being the best tight end in football for many, many years, but then now having to share the spotlight with George Kittle, pretty amazing list. You know what I mean? If you look at it, Kelce, T.J. Watt, J.J., Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa. So at this point, you know, Devin McCourty, Jason McCourty, you can say who you think is better. I mean, you can look at the numbers and they can say one thing. Devin obviously is slightly better than Jason McCourty. But I think Nick Bosa on this list is better than Joey Bosa. I mean, Joey Bosa to me gets hurt a little bit more. And if Nick can stay healthy a little bit, you know, keep his body in a little bit better shape, I think that Nick Bosa is going to surpass Joey. And honestly, at this point right now today, I think Nick Bosa is a better player than Joey Bosa. You know, we'll have to see, you know, as these years go along, but that's just kind of how I feel, and that's facts. Andrew A. in the building, what to do? J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, fantastic duo there. But Travis Kelce and Jason Kelce, what an amazing duo right there. So I just wanted to share that because, like I said, that was something that I wanted to go over with y'all on the list. I'll actually keep it on the screen, but I'll just minimize it and shrink it down. We'll put it down over here, editing on the fly. We'll slide it here. slide that back over there. Yeah, but I wanted to go over that. I thought that was really key and important, to be able to go over that. Just crazy, the talent with the brothers. It's like you almost forgot that there's 4 sets of brothers in the NFL. Like, how amazing is that? I mean, we saw Eli and Peyton Manning, in years past and a few others. But, I mean, you could have Jason Kelce, Travis Kelce, Hall of Fame, right? T.J. Watt, J.J. Watt, Hall of Fame, right? That's facts. I mean, you could have Nick Bosa, Joey Bosa, Hall of Fame, and then the only ones that probably aren't going to be Hall of Famers are the McCourty bros, but they're fucking good. They're good, solid pieces. Pretty amazing if you think about it with the talent that they have. Oh, there we go. This is Shrick. That's another one. Shaquem and Shaquille Griffin. Great. See, I absolutely love you, Shrick, because you're a sports fanatic through and through, just like me, and we're always thinking outside the box and thinking, what other brothers are out there, and they're not on the same level, as some of these other guys on the list. That is a great one. Great one. Oh, and then also, what about Tremaine Edmonds, the Edmonds bros, right? So that's another one. Edmonds bros. So there's 2 of them. So we got the one on the Buffalo Bills, and then I think the other one's on the Steelers, right? And those guys are pretty solid. Remember them? Is that Alvin Kamara and Alan Kamara? Oh, shit. You're funny. But, yeah, that's a great one. But, yeah, Edmonds is the one that I was thinking. And those guys are pretty beast mode as well. So there's a lot of them kind of floating around in the league. It's very surprising. And then you got guys that are like cousins, like AB, even though he's not in the league, and Hollywood Brown. So there's a lot of ties of people and families, having that good genes in their family gene pool to be able to have them be amazing athletes as well. Josh Allen and Josh Allen. Wouldn't that be crazy? Is that we got the same mom but different dads? Josh Allen and Josh Allen. And the funny thing is, I think both of the Josh Allens are going to break out. I think Josh Allen for the Bills is going to win the AFC East crown over the Patriots, Miami, and all the rest. I won't even mention the Jets. And I think the other Josh Allen will be one of the bright sides, but besides DJ Shark on that roster, and maybe Minshew Mania, Mustache Minshew. And, the rest of the squad that they have, I don't really know what you're going to get from Fournette. I mean, they just need to lose all their fucking games, win like 2, pick up Trevor Lawrence, and then you're good to go. Trevor Lawrence, the Shark, Trevor Lawrence, the Fournette. You know what I mean? Josh Allen on defense, and they just need to rebuild what they broke up with all the pieces that they used to have. He's at CJ Hendo. I saw that he signed today, so he ended up getting his things, straightened out. So, but Madden 21 says Rob Gronkowski is the 3rd best tight end in the NFL on Madden. Really? Hey, Bucs fan reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. So I didn't want to go on for, 2 hours, 3 hours. Yesterday was crazy. Yesterday was 45 minutes, 50 minutes, and then my internet cut out, and then I went for another 2 hours. So essentially I went for like 3 hours with the streams, which was pretty crazy. But I'm going to end the stream because I only wanted it to do it for about an hour, and we're sitting right now at about an hour and 11 minutes, hour and 12 minutes. So I just wanted to keep it short and sweet, kind of go over how I felt. I still love Gronk. I still love Brady. I have to because they're on my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The ratings are wrong. You could definitely have Gronk at 4th or 5th in the rankings. I think he's around a 90, even though he's ranked 95 here in Madden. But at the end of the year, I definitely think that a 95 rating for Gronk could be justified if Brady and Gronk stay healthy. They make the playoffs. They're sitting at 10 or 11 wins, and then you'll be like, wow, they kind of projected him for what his, season-ending total numbers would be, not right now. So definitely they got the internet up in a storm. So Madden 21 says Rob Gronkowski. Gronk is the 3rd best tight end. A Bucs fan reaction with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that fucking like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy when you can, either on here, patreon.com/NWSF, or our GoFundMe. And if you're looking for merch, Northwest Sports Fanatic merch, link is below every video on our YouTube page. From one Buck fan to who knows if there's any else out there in the world. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Shout out to Odin's Child with a fucking $50 donation during COVID and coronavirus. That's huge. That's a lot of love. $50 fucking donation to start it off. Gerald Black and Gold Light Toes didn't do 99 cents. He always does 99 cents. He did $2. That's big. That's love. And then Calvin Griffin, $25 fucking dollars. And Calvin Griffin is normally a guy that does $1 to $5. So thank you so much for being so generous, the three of you guys and all the rest that are in the building that commented, liked the video, gave your input. It was a great show. I love you guys. Have a great fucking weekend. And hopefully I can get back to it on Saturday and Sunday and I can bang out some more videos. Again, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button. Stay safe, y'all. And I will be back very, very soon. Kendrick Bros, that's another one. Good one there. Troll Patrol, Andrew A Guy, Ryan Schrick, Too Fast 49. As I scroll up to see who else has commented, just in the recently, RM, Schrick, Official Young Nola, all y'all, everyone that's still in the building. Thank you guys. Appreciate you guys. Have a great Friday and a rest of your weekend. I'm out. Peace. Gronk, baby. Go Bucs.